What?
Yes. Yes. Welcome into the Tim McKernan Show podcast. It's presented to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies, by Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling. My name is Tim McKernan, and I'm joined by Jackson Burkett. Jackson.
What up?
Good morning.
Morning.
Jackson, let's be honest about things here. Number one, even though you just volunteered that your father drove you to work today, and then unfortunately it led to a bunch of criticism.
Naturally.
In the text inbox on the morning after. Because of that, you're on a schedule. Let's set the parameters now. Plus, my wife wants to use my car to drive in the conditions that we are in St. Louis, Missouri. And so, listen, I don't know what we're going to do here, but I want to get your parameters because I want to act like I'm more interested in your situation than mine.
Want to set like a 1 o'clock with a 5-minute fudge on the end?
100% going under.
Under on 1 o'clock? Okay, I would take that.
Just so you know, your facial tells your lips curling.
I don't know. I would take the over on 1 o'clock, but 1 o'clock I'd say we could.
And I know
set
I can't bet it because I'm in control of it. That
true.
sucks.
We used to, and I didn't. I was pissed. He was like, "You were like, I bet I will get it under," and I was like, "No, you won't." And then you did, of course, because you controlled it.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn it."
Yeah, it's like the Pete Rose theory when he was betting baseball. YouTube.com/TMASTL. We were promoting this because on TMA today, we had so many people in the YouTube chat because I gather so many people were staying at home.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that because can't tell if Doug before was like, I don't know, people got to be listening without being in their cars. I was like, yeah, maybe the radio over the radio might be not as much as a normal Monday, but the YouTube chat and the streaming will be going crazy because people are kind of just at home chilling.
That's it. And so I said, then well, let's do the Q. Let's do.
Got a new cute boy.
I do. That's correct. That's my tell. You know when I found the right cute boy. I don't know why anybody would follow me on Twitter anyway at this point. I don't do anything outside of the Gift Depot, but occasionally at around 11:30 or noon, once a week, their timeline will be occupied by a cute boy.
Yeah, they're always like with like long bangs.
Maybe that's my kink, and my algorithm knows what I'm into.
Really dark hair.
It's my kink.
Yeah, the one you sent out last week was like a really long GIF. I remember I was like watching it for like 12 seconds. I was like, this guy's still pursing his lips with his earring.
You can always email me for QFTA, TMcKernan at InsideSTL.com. Gather friends, gather neighbors, gather around. We'll be talking it over here on the Tim McKernan Show podcast and engaging with you who are live in the YouTube chat. So, boy, well, I'll tell you what, they're coming in fast and furious now, papers, so you better be ready to go. God, so James Carlton brought up the Catholic school thing. Doug, while you were out, was making the observation, which I think he is 100% on. We drove into work today. We did the show. Now, I know a lot of people, I don't a lot of people. All I know is people will listen to these sometimes months after we do them. So I should say that we're doing this on January 26th, 2026 in St. Louis, and there was a snowstorm over the weekend. Now, I want to tell this anecdote to you, and I want to get your opinion because I think I'm in the middle, but maybe you disagree on that. I think I'm in the middle. You would view Doug as everything was better in the good old days, everybody's soft now category. Am I correct on that?
If I had to generalize, yes.
Okay. And then I think you just default to disagree with that because oftentimes you find it to just be, I don't know what the right term would be, a narrative?
Yeah, just kind of like an easy scapegoat in a way.
Okay. All right. Now, this isn't about softness because I think it applies to my mom, who was not in her 20s. Be a hell of a story, though, if she was.
Yeah.
Driving, well, you didn't drive in today, and I'm not trying to get the whole thing going, but I drove in, you were in the car. It really wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
Do you agree? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
It wasn't bad
Okay.
out there.
So my wife just texted me about 20 minutes ago, and as I said, she wants to use my car today as if I'm driving this.
Yeah, you're driving a Bronco.
I am. And she goes, how are the roads? I go, honestly, they're fine. I don't know what to say. So Saturday afternoon, one of my good compadres, who is a wonderful gambler, who you know, but probably isn't looking for their name to be mentioned on this particular podcast, said, hey, do you want to come over? He is in the process of building a home. He's putting a simulator in. Holy crap, is it nice? And he knows my kids, and he's got a child around my older son's age. And I said, sure. Just before the snow had started falling, been falling for about 5 or 6 hours, I said, let me make sure. So I drive out on a main road and a fairly decent-sized other road, and I'm like, this is easy. So I said to my wife, I said, hey, I'm going to take the boys over to so-and-so's. And she goes, what? And I go, yeah, I mean, we got nothing to do. She goes, the roads. And I said, I just was out there to make sure. I said, it's just kind of a nothing. I don't know what else to say. It's just the way that it is. Here is my thesis. And I think on this, you reject it out of kind because your father, appearing on Movie Boy this week, was in the education business. And so probably default click to the softness thing. And it's not about softness. This is the lane I'm taking. It's a byproduct of the media because we got, in my area, 8.5 inches of snow. And don't get me wrong, the roads are not clear and it's going to be frozen. I don't know if they're going to be clear for days. But the main roads are clear.
Yeah.
Now, they might not necessarily be down to the actual pavement, but they're clear. And one can get around with no issue. So I think when it comes to schools, I think it's an insurance liability reason, like, period.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, for those consuming, and this is, as I said to Martin last week on TMA, this is like Halloween for Elvira, Mistress of the Night, the one time that local news has relevance to people outside of those who just kind of lived on it in the 70s and 80s, so younger people will watch. It becomes a bigger deal because it is treated like there was some kind of significant event, and then the actual issue that you would be navigating is way less than that which it is, but because you have been consuming something telling you how bad it is, you think it's worse than what it actually is. Jackson, your thoughts on my thesis? Go.
Generally speaking, yes. I think that local news hypes up storms worse, likely than they are, does drive a lot of viewers, which then drives ad dollars, this, that, and the other. Yes. Generally speaking, yes, I agree. I think when it comes to this stuff, though, like snow on the road, like maybe don't, like if you don't have to drive, like for our jobs, we kind of have to be there.
We're essential workers.
In one way. But, we just kind of have to be present, Whereas if you're working a job where you're either hybrid or you have the option to work at home or you just like don't need to leave, even if the roads are okay, I understand not taking the risk because like what happens if you do catch a patch of ice or somebody else is driving recklessly on those roads and you get hit? Like now your car's in a bad shape or you're in bad shape. Why mess with it? I get that personally. Like I was in a situation on Saturday night where like probably roads were okay enough, but like my street hadn't been plowed out at all. So all 8 or 9 inches were just sitting there. Yep. And I drive a car that has front wheel drive, which is again pretty good in the snow, but it's also very low to the ground. And so when you have snow of this volume, it's like it doesn't matter what the snow is. It's just going to be hard for me to drive.
So I agree. I follow what you're saying. I think maybe I perhaps misstated what I was attempting to say. There's no reason for even our jobs, my God, especially our jobs. Is there a job less important than our jobs?
For sure.
But so if you don't need to go, then don't go, period.
Yeah, right.
I get that. What I'm saying is the psychology. I'm observing the psychology.
Right.
This is even Saturday afternoon before the bigger storm had arrived. And this is my wife, too. So obviously I have a predisposition to be on her side where she couldn't believe that it was okay to drive. And I'm just like, yeah, it's just a, couple inches of snow. It's really not But if you had been watching and talking about it with people for 4 days, the idea that this was just, and it's just kind of a nothing.
Yeah, it gets a little echo chambery, and it's like you've already made your assessment of the roads before even seeing the snowfall.
That's what I'm saying. So then yesterday afternoon, I go out there to shovel the snow, and I'm shocked by it too. And my son, this makes me wonder about him, said, "Oh, I want to shovel too." I'm like, okay, I always thought we were kind of similar, but now I don't get this.
What's up with this?
And it was so easy because it's light snow.
Really fluffy.
It was just easy to do.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of shoveling to do, but it was easy to do. So that in my head, I'm like, oh, I thought that this was going to be like, I'm going to do like, I don't know, a few yards at a time and then go back inside. And it was easy to do. And I'm making the general observation on this that is way more important than snow in St. Louis. And that is the power of the media to create bullshit.
Yeah.
That, Jackson, is what I'm really more interested in talking about.
Yeah, it's one of the most powerful weapons to create bullshit in the world.
Last 3 decades. Played a role in where we sit in 2026. I passionately, that is a hill I shall die on.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm applying it to things that actually matter, our show not being one of those things, and really, when it's all said and done, snow in the St. Louis area not really being one of those things, but in general, like how it shocked when I'm like, I drove into work today. I left a little earlier. I think Martin beat me here today. Now that
Martin was the first one here
Who would have thought? Has there ever been a day where it was Martin gold medal, me silver medal, and Doug bronze medal?
This is probably the first day.
I bet.
Yeah, I think you and Doug got here like the same time. So
photo finish.
Yeah, but yes, that combination is usually not the case.
So that's my observation. Do with it what you want. Send your emails in as always. Anything is welcome. It does not have to be sports. We'd really like an erotic story, but candidly at this point,
yeah. I mean,
maybe people just aren't having sex.
No, I think they are. I think it's just pretty standard stuff. But although we used to get a bunch of erotic stories featuring just solo acts, like they were.
Yeah, and that was great. That was really fun. That was the salad days.
Right. And so if you have that, send it in. Worst thing we can do is not read it.
Thank you. You have nothing to lose. 68 people in here, so I guess the theory is that's high for a QFTA, so people are hanging on at home. Fire away. Ask anything you want. You can use a burner account in there, so you can attack me in the YouTube chat, and also you can use a burner account to email. I don't believe that this is no, it's not. I've actually met this gentleman. Interested in the logistics of FCC violations.
Oh, nice.
What exactly are the magic words that cannot be said? I've always kind of defaulted to the George Carlin 7 dirty words.
Yeah, I don't think there is like a set list.
But I don't think, that's what I was about to say. I don't think there's a set list.
I don't think there is. Not to mention, like, if one is to utter, like, fuck on the radio, it wouldn't be like there was, like, at the FCC offices, like a siren goes off and points like, this is, someone would have to report
multiple people would have to.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how it works. I somehow, let's see, what was his next question? How are they reported? Does somebody have to turn you in? Are there random audits? Have you ever gotten turned in for this? If so, I'd love to hear the story. The answer is no. And I don't think, and I don't know how, I have used one of those quote unquote 7 dirty words in the show's history. I don't think I have.
I think maybe once.
Oh, yeah, what did I say?
I remember it because it was really funny because I was saying.
Shows how much it stands out to me.
No, it was, I was talking about streaming for like a Mizzou NCAA tournament game. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do it because like I swear a lot during the broadcast. And you were doing the show from Jupiter at the time. Mm-hmm. And I remember you going, oh, who gives a shit? And it was like perfect because we were talking about cursing. And I think that was the first time you'd ever done it.
In 1999 or 2000, Tom Ackerman, who, as you know, difficult to get along with.
Yeah, tough guy.
Thank you. He's bounced around from station to station.
Yeah, real nomad.
Tom Ackerman started at KMOX, and it was a big deal because he was 21, 22 years old. And what we used to use, I guess this kind of barely predates me, are things called carts. That's where the audio was. You had to put them in these machines, and then you'd have to, I don't even know how to do it.
We still have them, but they're just digital.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess it didn't play, and he was caught off mic saying shit, and it was a story in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Seriously? Holy hell.
And I'd tell that story to get that exact reaction, because that's what the reaction I assumed it would get.
Yeah.
Because now it happens, I feel like almost every week on TMA. It might be a caller more so than a host.
Yeah, almost always a caller.
But, it's...
Yeah. You dump it. We're on a 7-second delay. So when you dump it, you dump the last 7 seconds of audio that had happened that has yet to reach the listener's ears, and it scrambles and then comes back.
Yeah.
So there is no real set list. It's kind of the context is important to it as well. You know, like if you're doing it maliciously, that's another thing. Like if you kind of plan to say it, you're like, I'm going to swear, and then swear. It's going to be tough to defend.
No.
But if it happens accidentally, you dump it. That would not be a problem. But if it were to slip through, so multiple people have to report it. It's different when it's like SNL or like a football game where there's so many eyes on it. Then the FCC would become aware of it.
Janet Jackson's nipple.
Right.
Janet Jackson's nipple.
You don't have to have Craig from Nebraska email in when it happens, during Saturday Night Live. They'll catch that. But for our little thing or any really local radio show, it would have to be reported.
Good morning, Tim and Jackson. Much has been discussed by the Senator's comments. Oh, the title of the email is Eric Schmidt's comments on St. Louis's self-esteem. Much has been discussed by the Senator's comments. Much has been discussed by the Senator's comments, period. One thing that isn't being discussed enough, in my opinion, is his reasons for why he wants the NFL to return to St. Louis. He claims that St. Louis has low self-esteem, a claim that I would 100% agree with. Do you agree with him? And if you think an NFL or NBA franchise is unrealistic, what could actually happen to improve the region's self-esteem, or is it an unfixable problem? That's from Deep Voice Dude / Lex Luthor. Deep Voice Dude.
Oh, yeah. He's always talking about the NBA.
He's always in the YouTube chat. Yep. Always talking about the NFL and NBA. Yes, Eric Schmidt appeared on TMA 2 Fridays ago and then did a story with a Camo V reporter who asked him a bunch of questions, and one of them was about the NFL in St. Louis, and then that led to a headline that got some attention. So Eric sent me a text link to it last week and said we probably should talk about this, and so he asked me to call him during a commercial break. And then we talked about it. He said, hey, just for purpose of context, I was asked about 20 things. This was one of the things. It wasn't like I said, hey, the NFL's close to coming back to St. Louis. The big thing that he's working on right now is St. Louis University to the Big East when it comes to the sports landscape. So anyway, Jackson, how do you think that St. Louis has low self-esteem?
At the moment, yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that. So does Deep Voice Dude. Do you agree with him? Yes, we do. And if you think an NFL or NBA franchise is unrealistic, what could actually happen to improve the region's self-esteem, or is it an unfixable problem? I would say that the self-esteem will have to come from something else other than a sports team. And then if the self-esteem rises, that means that something else has played a role in the region's futures being stronger, which then could bring a more realistic probability of the NFL or NBA coming back to St. Louis. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. I also don't think that self-esteem is what's in blocking St. Louis from getting either of those franchises. I'm not saying that. Deep Voice Dude is saying that either, but I don't think it's self-esteem that's the issue. It's a combination of corporate sponsorship dollars, and in terms of the NFL especially, I think that their next goal is not to go to another Midwestern town. I think
if they're going to expand, they're going much bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know that. That's my anticipation. I may have said that on last week's.
Yeah.
I did.
Yep.
But Robert Kraft did an interview and he talked about international.
Yeah.
So I think the only way it's going to happen with the NFL in St. Louis is a team relocating.
Yeah, and then the NBA has already tabbed Las Vegas and Seattle as their next recipients.
That's a done deal.
As done as a deal can be without actually being in writing. But yeah, they will expand. The NBA will expand, probably outside of Vegas and Seattle as well. But those two are for sure up next.
And do I think St. Louis's issue is an unfixable problem? No, I do not. I think in order for a problem to be tended to, there has to be a consensus or a majority acknowledging that there is a problem. Now, in my opinion, this problem, and the problem is not a problem, but the problem is St. Louis's approach in general is way behind until the problem becomes malignant, for lack of a better term, has been around for a long time. The good news is now there is a consensus or a majority opinion that there is a problem. And so I believe that opens the door to the problem to be tended to. So along those lines, I think a large number of people in the St. Louis area who live in the city would say that comparing to last year's storm in January/February, the streets are being handled much better than they were last year. You're not in the city. I know you used to live in the city. And I think the reason why that there was great awareness is because of the criticism that came from 2025. Now, it sucks that 2025 had to happen,
Right.
but because 2025 happened, they were ready to handle 2026 way more so than they were in 2025. I use that analogy to present what I think we have in the region as a whole, that this has taken place. What I always go back to is leadership. The issue is, I don't know who in 2026, and I'm not even talking about just from a St. Louis City mayor or a St. Louis County executive, who has the willingness to be, described by 50% of the population, and in some cases their family, 50% of the population, getting personal criticism to receive dollars that for them would most likely be a pittance. What do you think the mayor of the city of St. Louis makes?
Ooh. Any guess? It would just be pure.
Fire a bullet.
85K?
Oh, over that.
You
I was
think?
going to say 175.
Okay. I'll split the difference, go 120.
I thought this was out there. I thought this would be an easy.
Out there.
Oh, you have to say make per year. I didn't include that. 161,820.
Okay.
161,820. Nice amount of money.
Yeah, it's no.
But if you're somebody who's willing to go, okay, I know it's coming.
Right.
161 isn't going to change your life.
It's not sweetening the pot.
That's the thing. And I think intentionally, the president has never been a high salaried job. I mean,
400K.
I think that was the famous number. And that's what I remember from like the 1980s and 90s. So maybe it hasn't changed.
Yeah, I thought it was something in that ballpark.
Obviously, you make a hell of a lot of money.
Yes,
from,
speaking engagements and book signings and this, that, or the other.
Let's see what I got on that, Jackson. Fun facts for no one tell. $400,000. That's still the deal.
Yeah.
$50,000 expense allowance.
Nice.
$100,000 in non-taxable travel funds.
Yeah.
$19,000 for entertainment.
I'm sure that has been used.
So.
And you get to
What did Vanilla Ice make at Mar-a-Lago on January 1st?
Yeah, free place to live as well for your 4 years.
Sure. Yeah, that's nice. So it reduces expenses in case you're hard up. So I think that is a big issue because the upside is severely limited beyond intangibles. And the downside is now you have your personal life, your family dug into as if it's public, Yeah. And I don't know who's going to really subject themselves to that. That is, to me, a huge key.
Especially when, it's hard to get anything done. It's really hard to get things that you kind of want someone, and I know it's not ideal, but someone with aspirations to go deeper, like go further in politics. Yes, you would probably get a lot more agenda with that. But if you want someone who's young and ambitious with vision, likely mayor of St. Louis wouldn't be the ceiling of their, position, likely.
Deep Voice Dude is in the YouTube chat and says, DaBaby is performing at the White House's Valentine's event in case you wanted to know what state the country is in. Jackson, is that true?
For real?
The DaBaby?
I'd be surprised.
DaBaby's kind of been off the grid for a bit.
He's had he was big in 2019 and kind of fell off.
And he worked with Dua Lipa.
Yeah, amongst others. He was huge there for a little bit.
But he had his pop crossover moment with Dua Lipa. Was that Levitating?
Yeah.
All right?
Yep. I don't see anything for him performing at the White House coming up, but maybe I've missed that.
Let's see. All right. Jackson is on DaBaby at the White House.
Not seeing that, but maybe.
Let's see what I got here on the TMA fan page. I posted, and then I'll go into the YouTube chat. Then I'll go into the. But if I don't go into and if I don't go to these first, I'll never read them, and that's a problem. All right, Barnhart Brawler on the TMA fan page on Facebook, which Jackson does a wonderful job of moderating.
Sure do.
Well, you live on there.
Yeah, I sometimes spend upwards of 90 seconds a week on there.
That's the gig, though. That's why you're compensated
just to
be a
make
moderator.
Sure. Yep.
TMA has taken a firmly apolitical stance these last few years. I'm gonna have to politely disagree with that, because I don't think the show is apolitical, even though this is probably semantics. In fairness to the Barnhart Brawler, we did a program on January 7th, 2021, the morning after January 6th, which, through the magic of history, has been reverse engineered into turning into something totally different than what it actually was.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal deal. And it did not go well. I was broadcasting from my kitchen table in Jupiter. You boys, I guess, back at the studio. We were KFNS at the time. Brutal.
Yeah, that was a rough show.
I mean, just brutal. When it's all said and done, I put it on me, because I probably should have known. And just said, hey, we're not going to talk about it. But the show had never, in all of its time on the air, for example, I was listening to The Brighter Side of Blue, a podcast I am a big fan of, and have gotten to know those guys. Jackson has as well. And they had John Hessel on, who was the Kirkwood City attorney during the Kirkwood City Hall shootings in 2008. What an interview. Holy crap. That was on last week. And it was one of those interviews, I don't know how often you have them when you're podcasting, where it's like, I'm going to keep going and just carry my phone around and keep listening. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
So good. His recall, John Hessel's recall of that whole incident, absolutely incredible. The next morning after that shooting took place at Kirkwood City Hall, all 3 hours of the show were about it. Mm-hmm. All 3 hours of the show were about it. And we received a bunch of compliments for it. Not that that was the reason we did it, but that's just like, how can you not talk about it? Sure. It was a national story, and and Doug went to school with Cookie Thornton. He was in his class. The person who shot the people in the Kirkwood City Hall council chambers that night. So it would have been weird to not talk about it. Mm-hmm. And now we are 5 years removed. It would be weird to talk about it, but we got together as a show, and it was a, I don't know, I guess 30 to 60 second text exchange. Yeah. And Doug kind of took he goes, listen, I know my opinions are going to piss people off. He goes, it's probably better we don't talk about it.
Right, just take it.
I said, it's just, we can't do it.
Right.
It just is. So it was a choice. It's not that we are apolitical. For me, individually, it wasn't that night. It was about 2 months later when I saw people who were condemning it that night now kind of do what I just said, change what their stances and their history, what they said that night, the history. And I said, that's it, I'm out. And people were saying it didn't happen, or it was actors and all that. And I'm just like, that's it. And I can't, because it'll frustrate me too much to engage. And so I haven't talked much politics on this podcast, or just in general in my life. I don't really pay close attention to it like I used to. I enjoyed talking about it before, but that was kind of the moment where I tapped out. I feel like you're about to say something.
No, that's we just kind of decided.
So it was a show choice.
Yeah, it was just not great for us.
And now I just fucked everything up, because the Barnhart Brawler says probably a wise choice for the show. Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is we chose not to do it. It's not that, because Doug's, I'm sure, just as political as ever. I actually am it's not that I'm apolitical. I'm just not engaged. I think the only time I really feel like we've spent time on it was when I saw Biden in the debate 2 years ago. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, God, what is it, Polymarket?
Yeah, right.
Oh, Jackson, I could have retired on that.
Yeah, for sure.
I am curious, however, as someone who does not approve of dishonesty, do you personally have misgivings about having someone on the show who engages in such blatant lying on such a serious topic? What are we doing? I don't know what we're talking about. Or because the conversation was around sports, it could be deemed not political, and therefore you're comfortable compartmentalizing. I know the events this weekend after the senator was on the show. So I guess we're talking about Eric Schmidt. I just don't see where the lead-up is to it. I'm looking at the TMA fan page. This isn't an email, so everybody could see anybody who's on it.
And there's no subject line.
Got it. Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So yes, that was that. Those were the terms, for lack of a better term, that we were absolutely not talking politics.
Right.
Period. And to give, and I don't know if I said this last week. Did I talk about the lead up to having Eric Schmidt on the show?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
That
what
Martin and I, because I texted Martin the morning of, because Eric Schmidt had texted Martin about coming on the show because he wanted to talk about the salute to the Big East thing and then this SEC meeting he was at and the transfer portal and NIL and college athletics because he's on the Commerce Committee. And so the morning of the show, I texted Martin. I said, hey, by chance, did you text John Kioski, who's the president of Hubbard Radio in St. Louis, to make sure it's cool because there's a no politics policy here.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh my God, it didn't even cross my mind. So then I said, I'll put you in a group text with John and we'll talk about it and tended to it. And it was, as long as he's talking sports, then it's fine. And that was my thought process, as well. But, to the Barnhart Brawlers, point, I got, 2 emails. That's actually the number. I would have thought it would have been more. Complaining about it. I would think that if somebody listened to it, they'd go, okay, that wasn't political. They may not like Eric Schmidt, may not respect Eric Schmidt, may feel like Eric Schmidt has changed his tune since the beginning of his political career to now being in lockstep with President Trump. At the same time, when I was out and about that weekend, I had a bunch of people, not a bunch, but 5 to 10, talk about, oh my God, I can't believe that Senator Schmidt's a TMA listener and came in studio, and that was a great interview. And so it could have been, take your pick of whomever. We weren't going to sit there and go, so what are your thoughts on ICE?
Yeah,
it just wasn't happening. But here's the deal. I understand that some people have a problem with it or did have a problem with it or whatever the case might be, and I'm not telling you you're wrong, and I don't know who Barnhart Brawler would be a fan of, and I don't want to put words in his mouth when he's not here to say, but if it were somebody who he was a fan of, and therefore would believe that person is telling the truth, we would have done the same thing if that person were efforting St. Louis University to get to the Big East and also involved in the Commerce Committee. So
there you go.
There you go.
Yep.
Tim, why didn't Jeff Burkett also pick you up this morning? That is from the TMA fan page.
He would have.
He would have, wouldn't he have?
Yeah. You'd have to, 5:45, buses pulling in. But,
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Let's see, Beer Cats. Beer Cats, by the way, I did an Ask Me Anything this weekend, Jackson. Were you disappointed to see me doing an Ask Me Anything?
Didn't know until you said it on the
believe you there.
program this morning. Yeah.
I'm going to fold.
Yeah. Didn't see that.
So I got up. My sons had spent the night, one son at my parents', the other son at my wife's parents', and we went out to dinner on Friday night. And so I get up, and I always get up way before my wife because of, we're kind of timed that way from getting up early during the week. And I have a house to myself, not going to go anywhere because of the weather. And I'm like, there's really nothing at 8 in the morning to watch of note on a Saturday. There's no College Game Day. I mean, do you watch the College Game Day basketball edition?
No.
Wow, if you don't watch it.
No, it doesn't do the same thing for me. The energy isn't there.
Right.
That's why I watch.
Right,
absolutely.
absolutely.
For the energy and for the vibe.
And I'm like, I'll probably be around my computer quite a bit over the next 2 days, snowed in, so I'll answer questions. And Beer Cats, who I would consider, Jackson, you ever heard the term P1?
Yeah.
I don't even know what it means. I just know it means like intense listener.
Yeah, in the top 5% of...
Is that what it means?
I don't know if that was the exact numbers.
A P1 listener is the number one preference listener for a radio station, meaning they listen to that station more than any other, representing a crucial, loyal audience segment that significantly drives ratings and revenue, often having their favorite station preset as their first choice. That's what it means.
I think
that makes sense.
A good, that's exactly what Beer Cats would be.
Okay, so he's P1.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of this Ask Me Anything I'm doing on the TMA fan page on Facebook, which you can apply to join into, but candidly, it's like the wait list over at Old Warson. I just don't know when you're going to get in.
Right.
He said, I didn't realize that HD2 wasn't an option for you guys when we went to 101.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, I feel like I said that in the TMA State of the Union, the first podcast that I did after we went to 101. And I feel like I've said it multiple times since. But at the same time, if you haven't heard, if you weren't listening to those, then.
Yeah.
And he goes, no. He goes, and I listen to QFTAs. I haven't heard you say. I'm like, all right. Because if anything, I feel like I've said it like so much that it might be like a Tim McKernan bingo card game at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
I definitely remember you saying it multiple times.
I know.
I'm not saying Beer Cats has been
right.
wrong.
If you just didn't hear it, you just didn't hear it. But
we talk a lot.
I was surprised. We certainly do. So anyway, that was just a brief aside on that. Do you? He asks, do you foresee ever having TMA lives again? I know you guys don't love them. He's a P1.
Yeah, just to put it nicely.
I always enjoyed attending those and interacting with the show in person. I also understand it's all financial. There have been attempts at trivia nights, which personally just don't excite me. TMA live events allowed live interaction, engagement with the show. Trivia is just you guys on a stage reading some questions. I can go to any of the 1,000 trivia nights if that's what I want. TMA Live's unique. Anyhow, would love to see them return, but clearly it has to make sense for all parties involved. I guess I could, and maybe like once a year-ish.
Yeah.
For me, and I can also speak for Scott Rizzuto and Franco Pinion, and I'm only citing those because I've had the conversation with it, or Franco Pinion, I think, was on the record in the Post-Dispatch when he went to KFNS that one of the most important terms was he will not do live remotes, and I know that's how Rizzuto feels too. The show isn't as good. It doesn't have to be on a TMA Live. If we're not in studio, I mean, God, nobody knows that more than you because you're the one oftentimes dealing with the. So it's just not, I take pride in the thing.
Yeah.
I care about the thing. And by the thing, I mean the show. And, I'm glad that, audience members have made friends with other audience members and it's become a community. That's an incredible thing. Certainly was not, it's all happened naturally over the years. But I think for us, those wore out their welcome when we were at KFNS, and Hot Shots was probably one of, I don't know, I mean, on the high side, 10 non-TMA KFNS advertisers as we were leaving that at least spent more than, an amount that you would care about. And one of the terms that Hot Shots, good for them, smart move on Hot Shots' part, probably Jay Boyd, said was like, well, we're only gonna do it if we can get a TMA Live because then you can get tangible dollars by people coming there. If we do it every month. And the people in charge of KFNS were like, okay, well, because they got to do whatever they got to do to get dollars in. So I also understood it, and we're the show that they wanted to do that, and so we were doing them once a month, and that wasn't fun. I mean, there's just no, because it's not a great show. Also, I would say this: the best part of the TMA Lives were Jay Randolph Jr. and the Foot Fetish Friday.
Yeah, by a long shot.
And so, with Jennings no longer with us, that's not in play. But even with Jennings there, it still was like it's the same. It's just would we have the day off the next day?
Yes,
I feel like we would. We would have replay it.
Yeah, we would. Then
you would have to go home.
Pain in the ass. God, that was a pain in the ass.
So you would go back to the studio and then edit it.
Yeah, it would be like 10 o'clock. I edited, and there's always someone saying something because here's the thing: is like. If we ever do it again, it would have to be reshaped into like where we just kind of do the show and like sure interact with the audience a little bit, but like we did it as it's not good to listen to because like we're playing games with audience members and that doesn't translate well to audio, or like a wing eating contest that really doesn't translate well to audio.
Gareth did wonderfully though.
Gareth did, and Herb was a rare.
Yeah, what a machine! Well,
the only upside of it was anytime we do a live remote in the HD2 era, Plowhawk would get stoned out of his mind in between hour 1 and 2, and by hour 2 he was cooked, and it would be so funny to me. But like I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and anytime that they're like posting their live show that they did, it's an insta skip for me because it plays well to the people who are in the crowd.
Exactly right.
But it doesn't play well to people later.
Letterman's my next guest is.
It depends on who he has, but yeah, I've watched a good amount of them.
And I said to my wife, we were watching, who do you have? You had Michael B. Jordan. My son, who's 8, loves Mr. Beast. I guess that's the demo.
Sure.
So I had never seen. I'm aware of him. He could walk in the studio. I wouldn't know what he looks like.
Not the most personable person.
He acknowledges that I think he might be
A little awkward.
Yeah, well, certainly that, but it might be more medical than that. But
Sure,
hey, God
sure.
bless him
Yeah.
with what he
He's
has.
built
Holy
up.
crap!
Yeah, empire.
Who else was on this season? Their papers, Jason Bateman.
Yeah, saw that.
And so my wife really likes Jason Bateman. And we get done with the episode, and she goes, I was looking for a little bit more out of that. Kind of like when Jiminy Glick opens up the interview with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and asks about her child. I was hoping for a little bit more than that. Thank God for the shoes. And I go, I think here's the problem. He does these interviews in front of crowds.
Yeah, right. And it's
just unnecessary.
And he didn't used to do like the original.
I think he may have initially done it. Then during COVID, I can picture one. I'm not the biggest Lizzo fan. I'm not sitting here going anti-Lizzo.
Well, you just don't like flautists.
Maybe that's it. Actually, I need to look inward on that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're doing this more in her house. And I guess that was probably during 2020 or 2021. Yeah. I guess. I have no idea.
The KD one's really famous because that's where he was like, I smoke pot all the time.
Oh, yeah. So
that was in his
interviews
apartment.
would be great. But when you're doing an interview, so we would do these, I guess probably more inside STL anniversary celebrations. And we would get kind of, for us anyway, big time guests to come. And then we would do interviews. In front of a crowd. This is how we did it in 2006 to celebrate the first anniversary. In 2007, I remember Kachuk coming and, God, who else? Edmonds was there, but it was his restaurant. A few blues. And it's like, we always would get these big guests. I mean, again, relatively speaking, for St. Louis. But then people are just sitting there drinking, and it's kind of like there's noise in the background, and it's just like, it doesn't play well. But if you wanted to get a great interview, the best interview is going to be in a studio where it's essentially the cameraman, if there is one, and the guests, and they're just talking. Because that's when you get the most. If I were doing an interview, if Buck Swope were to interview me, and what a job he would do. If Buck Swope were to interview me, and it was just me and him in like the Sound Story studio, for example, or where Riz and I do, and Stalter do the Spread Zone. That's a hell of a lot different than if we were on stage at like Helen Fitzgerald's.
Controlled environment, Tim.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah, more apt to get comfortable in something like that.
So yeah, it was fine, but there wasn't a lot of depth to it.
Sure.
Mr. Beast was interesting to me only because I knew nothing about Mr. Beast.
Right.
And Michael B. Jordan was the final one that we watched, and I don't know if we finished it yet. But I had no idea his background. I knew him. I thought he just popped up as Wallace.
He was in Hardball.
Yeah. I think that was his first.
He's the one with
Keanu Reeves
headphones, listening to Big Papa, the pitcher.
So that's my observation also on live shows. So it's not even TMA Lives. I mean, maybe like a Christmas show where it's once a year where we can do the toy drive.
Oh, once a year, or like the day before the Dodom event. That's been fun.
I think, here's what I would say. I would guess 50-50. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm under contract for, the rest of the decade. But if, there comes a time where I take the show in-house, I could see us doing live shows, but the reason why it would then be in-house is got nothing to do with Hubbard or anything like that. I can't say enough positive things. I truly can't, but I always put the disclaimer out there in case people are like, hold on, what does that mean? Can't say enough positive things about the people we work for, the people we work with. But the reason why, because then at that point, if it's not going to be on the air, it can be more of a free-for-all, and then it can be more entertaining, and then you're not doing a show that's going on the air.
Yeah.
And then it can be for the people who are there as opposed for an audience.
Right.
If you follow me on that.
That's what we would do with those night before the Dodom parties with Lisa Ann.
Yeah.
Because those were just put on the podcast.
Right. So therefore it's on YouTube, so it's uncensored, and it's a free-for-all.
Yep.
And that's when the whole thing is at its best. So do with that what you want.
I remember one of the TMA Lives, Jay was there. I think it was the one on Hot Shots on Dorset. And he was playing with some feet, and like 20 minutes into him playing with feet, so we'd only done I guess probably 70 minutes at that point. And Jay, I think it was Jewel. Remember Jewel?
He loved Jewel.
Yeah.
he fell in love.
Yeah. And so he had finished. He's like, that's all I got in terms of feet. I was like, Jay, we got to fill another 30 minutes because that had to play on the air the next day. So it wasn't like a podcast where it's like, all right, we could just shut it down and put it out. It was like, we had to go another 30 minutes. So I was
something
like,
happened.
Fuck.
Do you remember that? I mean, this is going so into the weeds.
Yeah.
But something happened that upset him.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
And you know what? Here, because you've spent more time with my older son than my younger son, but you've met them both.
Yeah.
My younger son is like Jay Randolph Jr. in this sense, and only this sense, because if he's into feet, he's 3.
Great move.
Great move.
Great golf move.
Oh yes,
just like Jay.
Yeah, Jay smacked the ground and it would fire off like a rocket. Jay, TMA Lives, was constantly happy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the happiest person there.
Yeah.
But one thing, and you don't know what the fuck the thing is, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And whereas with my older son, you can see it coming, and it's a build-up, and he's going to stay up there for a while, and you're just like, oh, fuck. With my younger son, everything's cool. He's the happiest son of a bitch going. And then just all of a sudden, and you're like, things are being gunned at your head. And I'm going, what the fuck happened? What's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
It happened like 10 seconds ago.
Right.
So whatever it was with Jennings happened that night that you're talking about. Yeah. Might be somebody in the YouTube chat who will recall what it was. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But
something set him off.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, that's it. Yeah. And then he's just like, I'm going to go drink and smoke some weed and I'll wrap it up.
I was like, well, we got time. We got to stretch here, my man. Like, we got to this got to go on the air tomorrow. So, yeah, I remember that.
Let's see. Would I be wrong in saying that Jay Randolph strongly resembles Frank Fleming from Barstool? Jackson, you're going to have to answer that one.
No, he does not resemble what? In appearance? No.
I don't know.
Personality, certainly not. No.
Guess we won't be having TMA spring training remotes then. That's from Tigo.
No, we will.
Yeah, 2 different things.
Yeah, very different.
One is just the 5 of us, including Doty, who I guess drives down to Jupiter.
He'll be driving down this year.
To set it up, and then the 4 of us on the show, and then whatever Cardinal joins us, this is in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's different. With the Lisa Ann thing that I think it's important that both people have their sides of the story out there. In this place, Cosmos Boxers is saying that Iggy ruined it. With the Lisa Ann thing being play on 101, I think in a vacuum the answer would be yes, but I don't know.
I don't know if she's doing like the radio thing anymore.
That's why I don't want to say yes and then it not happen and go, so there must be something, because I don't know if she's doing it anymore.
Right. She used to do she would do our show.
4 stations around the country and then go to Houston.
There was like 3 shows before us, and then she would do our show and then another show and then have her serious thing. So I don't know if she's even doing that stuff anymore.
Let's see. Jay and I used to call it the snap. We both had been known to do it. That's from Engine Joe.
Yeah.
That, I have to tell you, Engine Joe, stimulates the hell out of me in my mind, because I observed it, and I do observe it with my younger son. Mm-hmm. Now, again, he's 3. Jay was 50-something. But, okay, that's interesting. You don't have that. I can't imagine.
No.
You're pretty...
Yeah.
You get tight. That's the way I would describe you.
Yeah, sometimes I get tight, but like I think I can compartmentalize for a good amount to at least like in the short term be like, all right, I can power through this, and then when I'm by myself, I can then let my emotions fly.
Yeah.
I try not to do it with. I've been cursed with self-reflection and
I think that's a great trait.
In some ways, it is great because then like you are constantly trying not to be mean or a bad person, but also like sometimes it makes you a little bit gun shy. Scrupulous in a way.
Taking your shots on runs at the cocktail hour.
I equate it to how I play basketball. I often play basketball trying not to make mistakes as opposed to trying to be great.
Interesting, but you would be a good poker player.
Right, exactly. Whereas, like, if you're always worried about not making a mistake, you're going to... You might not make a mistake, but then you won't be, outstanding in other areas.
I follow you on that.
My plague.
Let's see. At the snap. Boy, that's interesting. Yeah, and again, because he's 3, I can't go like 20 minutes later when he's back to the happy I go, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have no idea. I'm anxious to hear. I mean, maybe this is something he grows out of, but something happened with Jay at the one you're talking about, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember
what it was, but overall, 99.9% of the time, he was the happiest guy at TMA Live.
The best.
So that's why it stood out. Did you first meet Jay when you were an intern? It's Brody Herman. Yes, that is correct. Nice job, Brody. God bless America. How the hell do you know that? But yes, I did. I was interning in 1998 and went to the PGA Championship with Jay and Dave Green. It's Sahali in Seattle. Vijay Singh, the winner in 1998. It's the first time I think I saw Tiger Woods in person. Fred Couples was a hero as a Seattle native.
Yeah, and that's when you hopped on AIM chat and saw Iggy out there.
We checked into the hotel room, and laptops were relatively new technology at the time. And I remember Jay or Dave opening up their laptop, and I think it was Jay who said, "Let's see if Ken is online," and Dave goes, "Oh, you've got to see this." And I go, "What is it?" And he said, "Iggy is online, but we know his username, and he disguises himself as a young lesbian to engage in chats."
Oh my God.
And as somehow was also covered on TMA today, one time got in what he thought was an erotic chat with another girl, except later he realized it was his brother doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, that's hot, and I'm not going to let you kink shame that.
No, it's red hot. It's red hot. It's just, we've grown a lot in terms of internet culture and in that world.
I think someone should make an R-rated comedy based on Jackson, Doug, and Martin spending a week together in Jupiter. It sounds like a Todd Phillips film premise. It's deep voice, dude.
Yeah, I don't think it would be all that interesting. It's mostly
when Martin takes your pills by mistake.
That was good stuff. That was good stuff because I think it was a mix of Adderall, finasteride, which is a hair loss medicine, and then maybe one Advil. But it would mostly be you'd get impersonations of local news people in St. Louis from across the last 2 decades. That's mostly what we spent our time doing.
Let's see. Yeah, God, I can picture that.
But we got a nice crib this year.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Not that we had a bad crib last year.
But listen, this is really nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know what so Dodie is staying with you.
Yeah.
But I think there's room for me to stay there.
Yeah, I think it's...
but I don't know what the dynamic is.
There's like a pool house thing with this one that
Jesse Kiowski handles the bookings on this.
Yeah.
And Martin's bringing his wife, but she's only staying until a certain point.
Got it.
And so then I'm like, well then, I mean, my wife is scheduled to be joining. And when we were in the pool house thing.
Yeah, you'd be...
But then does that, I don't know, maybe this needs to be tended to off air. Because I know there might be some extenuating circumstances.
Yeah. I say the more the merrier.
Do you?
I'll sleep on the damn couch.
No, fuck no. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying if there was a situation.
But you look at hotel rooms down in that area at this time of year.
Yeah, pricey.
It can be a shithole, and it's a few $100s a night.
For sure. Yeah, that area's blown up.
Sweet mother of mercy.
Yeah, but there's a pool for this one has a pool too, so gonna be up in there. Oh yeah.
Let's see. Sounds like the film would be straight to Tubi then.
Sure, Tubi's great. I don't want that to be disparaged.
It's deep voice, dude. All right, Jackson, I'm ready to shut it down. I mean, if somebody has something, yeah. I did my job.
You damn right. And you did it well, I say.
I fought the good fight. I mean, if there's somebody watching who wants to get it going and have it cover the over, I'm not looking to. I'm shutting it down, I'm landing the plane. But here I am. You want it? I'm here.
Yeah.
Ask the question. I'll do another. I'll open. You say whatever in the YouTube chat, and when it turns to let's see, what time is it? 12:29, and Jackson 12:31. If there isn't something that stimulates my synapses, we're shutting it down. Thank you to James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Online at carltoninsurance.net. He had his wonderful question. I said, email it in. Did I tell him? I thought I told him to email it in. Maybe I didn't. because I didn't know exactly what he was saying. That
Oh, James Carlton about
the people who went to public school are more religious now than the people who went to Catholic school.
Yes, I believe that's what he was
observation.
saying. Yeah.
James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agent. This is back in his home in Texas, where he's from. 314-961-4800. Jackson's now a client. So am I. CarltonInsurance.net. Then you got Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies, online at evergreen-ws.com. And he's a wonderful gentleman and has been a life Sherpa for both of us. And then also Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling, giving away a $10,000 HVAC system. Did Alan Dadeville become a minus 500 favorite to win the HVAC system with his win today?
Not with Buck Swope sitting there with 2 wins. Not
what
with
about this insult from the other side of the couch?
I don't know what the deal was with that, because I remember their first 2 emails being really good too. Like I think maybe it was one day unanimous vote. Yeah, which is rare.
Very rare with 5-person voting table.
Rare in January 2026 to get unanimous votes. So curious on that. And I'm not saying that chairman's filtering for no reason. Like if he filtered out, it's for a reason.
Yeah, I don't know. The insult from the other end of the couch. Alan Dadeville now has a 1-goal lead on Buck Swope. Carlos Spicy winner. I still feel like I could win it. And then designairservice.com. All right, let me see what I got. 12:31. Let's see. Jackson's hoping like hell there's nothing in there. Tim, do you ever hear from Ryan Kelly? I have not, but I feel like we texted within the last year, so it's not like we text regularly. I know he's down. At least I'm pretty sure he's down in Austin.
He's a big Hoop Rock fan.
Yeah, he is. Oh yeah, Climb for the Kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's incredible with that stuff.
Yes. I mean, it'd be so easy just to cut a check, and the fact that he went out and did it, that was unreal. Will there be a spread zone for the Super Bowl? Yes, indeed. Let's see. Brody Herman answering on my behalf. Brody's like representing me. This is nice. Yes, there will be a spread zone for the Super Bowl. I don't know how he knows, but he happens to be right. So, what happens if someone in apartment wins the HVAC system? I don't have the answer to it. Fortunately, it's not my concern. Is the TMA conspiracy about Martin and Dear Deidre's the new George Washington? For me, it used to be the only reading fellows slew classmates text.
That's
now it's Dear Deidre.
My favorite one is the only read.
But see, I never saw that. It was guys texting in.
Yeah.
Saying that I guess, I don't know, somewhere, I guess the Reddit page, it always goes back to the Reddit page, that I only read my buddies from St. Louis. I don't know if any of my friends from St. Louis who I listened to the show.
Yeah, that was just always really funny to me.
The theory was that I only read my friends' texts who went to St. Louis U High. Not the ones who went to Missouri with me, not my friends from my neighborhood growing up, but specifically St. Louis U High. And you're telling me that was a serious conspiracy theory. That was really believed.
Probably by some people, yeah, I'm sure.
Just like Martin killed Dear Deidre's.
Yeah, right. And the jury's still out on that one.
Thank you.
I don't know.
What do you think that? Which one do you think is in the TMA in that? I mean,
both are so asinine.
What is more believed?
Probably the Martin Dear Deidre thing.
Really?
Yeah. Well, if I wouldn't say it's Dear Deidre, like it would be like Martin was like, "Hey, no more smut," which was definitely not the case.
He's never said anything.
No. So.
Any good Bill stories, Jackson?
Guys just named Bill. We've had plenty of good experience with guys named Bill.
Two-parter. Going back to your Vegas days, did you ever consider moving there? Also, did you ever go to the rehab party at the Hard Rock? Wild as fuck. I talked about moving there. In hindsight, it was not realistic. I mean, if anything, it was like, I did make money playing poker in the final handful of years, but it wasn't, I mean, I guess I could have, but I would have just played online. Yeah. I wasn't a winning player. You can't play tournaments as a strategy to make a living. There's too much variance. And the great players play cash games, and I realize some are like, well, what the hell's the difference? And it's too boring for most people to get into the difference. But I was a tournament player, and you can't do that and earn a living. I mean, if you get a big score, you can. But, inevitably in a tournament, Jackson's got ace-king, I got pocket queens, he raises all in, I'm not folding pocket queens, and now at this point we're basically going, all right, you got heads, I got tails, and,
let's see what happens.
And that's it. So it's just, and those things can take days. Right. Those tournaments could take days.
Living in Vegas doesn't sound as fun as it might.
Like when I was in my 20s and I was going out there in my early 30s, it was incredible. And I think it's a hell of a lot different now. I gather, I did get to live this person. I lost the name since a bunch of other texts have come in since or chats. Lee May Adjacent Wildcat, nice, asks about rehab at Hard Rock, which you saw on Entourage.
Right. That would
but you never lived.
No.
That was absolutely a whole scene. That's where Andy Dick was in the Speedo tuxedo, where he came up to my buddy and said, "Ooh, you're a tall one." Yes, did. And I would go with some people who had, and still do, have way more money than I do, and did way more. And they would just get a cabana, and it'd be like 20 grand for the cabana, and just be like, we're just all going to be in here. And then once you have that, what those things are, they're like shining lights in the harbor for bachelorette parties and or ne'er-do-wells. And then they come over to the cabana, and then you're day drinking, and then that sets up either festivities that day, some kind of restroom facility, or going up to the room, or meeting up later in the evening for the festivity. Right. So yeah, it was wonderful. Guys, I smoked a cig with Prohl behind the dumpster of Mike Duffy's 7 or 8 weeks before his catch against Tampa. All right.
Nice. Certainly
Certainly has a voice that I could see has smoked back in the past.
Yeah.
How about that? That's a good fun fact. Let's see. Ali Viadinha had the unanimous vote. Come on, Silver Spoon.
It could have been. I don't remember.
Let's see. Jackson, at what point do we start talking about extending Dennis Gates?
Not now. Not right now. Let's see what Jason Crow can do next year, and then we can have conversations one way or the other.
Alan Dadeville, this is breaking news. This is the Easter egg of today's QFTA. I have to travel this week, and that might impact email of the day.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, you certainly couldn't send like timely show-related emails, but you could spin a yarn and send pre-send.
Like if you're on a flight, write a few emails and ship them in.
You're protecting a very dangerous lead.
Tim, you probably got to wrap it up. Mr. Burkett is honking in the parking lot.
I like that.
Is there a perfect seed for SLU to land in the NCAA tournament? Also, what will you boys be wearing to the Chaffetz on Friday? I always wear a purple derby and have a cane. Jackson, what is the optimal seed for St. Louis University to get?
Optimal? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
I think that's the seal. 5 is likely the ceiling. I would love for it to be higher, but when you don't have a single win against a Power 5 team, they will have quad 1 wins. They will have quad 1 wins, but they won't have a Power 5. It's just.
And now some of these teams that you thought might be the, quote, good teams in the A10 have gotten losses. Dayton, George Mason lost to Rhode Island.
Yeah, crazy.
VCU has kind of been slap-dicking around.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I mean, let me tell you something. As crazy as this shit is, if they lose 2 games in the month of February, it's a problem.
Yeah.
As dumb as it is, as absurd as that might sound, or January, I should say, between now and the end of February. You know, they got George Mason on the road to wrap up the regular season. Then you got the conference, and I would imagine there'll be a double-bye team. That's the way that it works in the A10. But yeah, because of the lack of quality wins, and that would be a real shame. I would agree with you that 5 would probably be
the ceiling. Yeah, if they have like 1 loss in the A10, they probably don't have to worry too much about the A10 tournament. But if they're 2 or 3 losses in the A10, you're gonna at least have to get to the championship.
CBS's latest brackets yesterday, by the way, had them as a 5 seed.
Yeah, I mean that's I could see it.
Let's see. I'm trying to. I want to know if SLU will be sent to Enterprise for 1st and 2nd. God, that would be great.
That'd be awesome. Wouldn't bet on it, but it's just how that's too hard to like try to.
Here's what I would tell you, and this is I don't know if anybody in St. Louis, maybe Frank Cusimano, has talked more about their loss to Stanford than I have. It's odd how much it bothers me because they shouldn't have lost it, and otherwise they'd be getting way more attention because they'd be undefeated and probably top 15 at this point, maybe top 12, only because they'd be undefeated, not because like beating Stanford would be the signature win, although Stanford now has a couple good wins themselves. Then, if SLU is undefeated, was St. Joseph's undefeated when they got whatever ridiculous seed they got, like back in the Delonte West days?
I don't think so, but I
and
don't
then Wichita
remember.
State, when they played Kentucky,
they were undefeated. Murray State as well, I think, at one point.
So my point being, if they're undefeated, then they're going to be, I don't know if they'd be at 1, but they might be at 2 or 3, and they're playing at Enterprise Center.
Yeah.
That's a motherfucker. I mean, it really is, because them being undefeated is possible.
I think it would.
I would, if I were setting over/under for SLU losses now and at the end, between now and the end of the A10 tournament, I would set it at 1.5.
Yeah, yeah.
They're that good, and the A10 is that bad. You know, I mean, they really kind of should have lost the Duquesne game. Were you watching that? Because I know Missouri was on at the same time.
I caught the most of the game and then switched over to the Missouri game, but I watched the highlights of the end.
I mean, the final, if Duquesne hits anything, including layups, not just threes, holy shit. But Duquesne should have won the game.
Right.
SLU just gave it away at the end.
Right.
Duquesne should have won that game more than Stanford should have won the game that they actually did win. Crazy as that sounds.
When Stanford got to the line, down 3, got to the free throw line, SLU was probably a 96, 97% chance to win. Yeah. Maybe even higher.
Yeah. Hit one, missed the second, 3 falling out of bounds. How do you do?
If Porter Mosier fouls Teo Barrett coming up the floor against Missouri at the end of regulation, Missouri has a loss. I couldn't believe it.
And may not be, I mean, obviously it's surmountable because they'll play a bunch of good teams, but my God. I mean, what is currently the equivalent of a 12-foot putt to get into the NCAA tournament would be
25-footer. Yeah. I mean, it was like I could not believe that they didn't foul.
Let's see. I'm trying to just at this point now I am trying to land the plane. Give a percentage of the Billikens going to the Big East. That's from the Forest Park Ranger Corps. Anything is 100% guess, so I need to say that. But I will say this: the next 2 months for St. Louis University, I would tell you, at least in my lifetime, I can't imagine a more significant 2 months for the program than these 2 months. Maybe somebody who's a longtime Billiken fan or can present something else that I'm not thinking of. And the reason is you're not just playing for this season and the potential that they could have this season, although I need to see them play in Illinois or a Houston with that kind of style of play that Calvin Sampson's operation has. Yeah,
with JT Toppin.
Those two went head-to-head this past Saturday. Because it's such a different game. I mean, holy shit. But with that said, you're also playing you go on a run, even to the Sweet 16. Yeah. And what that can do for that Big East thing, it's so substantial. So you're really, really playing for something bigger than just this year. Let's see. Imagine SLU being a 6 with Mizzou as the 11 coming out of Dayton, both playing at Enterprise. Jackson?
That'd be awesome. I would be so fired up for that.
I'm going to be on spring break that week.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to set up the computer and chime in.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's see. I think Loyola moved to the A10 from the Missouri Valley pretty quickly after their Final Four run. That's from the Forest Park. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. These runs, and especially the A10, or Big East, I'm sorry, being an 11-team
Yeah, they need new people in the Big East.
Let's see. I would love a SLU versus Mizzou matchup in March Badness.
Couldn't agree more. I'd be really very interested to see how that would shake out. I don't know. I truly don't.
What a day it would be for you.
Yeah, because SLU, surprised,
I'd be on spring break and I would tune in for that.
Yeah, they play a style.
I might join you on vacation for that.
They play a style that I actually think Mizzou would match up better with. Like Mizzou struggled, like you saw with the Drake game last year. Like if a team slows you down and just plays half court, Mizzou's not going to win many basketball games because they don't run half court offense. Whereas SLU just runs and guns, and that's what Mizzou wants to do too. So that would be really fun. It'd just kind of be who's hitting shots that night. And SLU hits shots a lot more often than Missouri does. I'll tell you that much. Fuck.
I don't know. I mean, it's like we can't look at one St. Louis U game and go, well, that team, is going into the tournament and they're going to be a top 4 seed, and you saw how they did this there. It's just we're literally flying blind. And I'll say this also. This is something that I do know. The interest level in St. Louis U has gone from what the fuck are you guys doing talking about this to I feel like it's what I'm asked about more than anything now.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is great because people are kind of tuning in. I think this Friday night, I hope they get past George Washington tomorrow. George Washington is not, there are plenty of butt asses in the A10. George Washington isn't one of them. But at the same time, I don't want to turn George Washington into like a matchup between Michigan and Nebraska tomorrow. Let's not say that. But it's a good test. I think Schertz said it's going to be their toughest opponent at home by far. I think that's what he said when he was with Ackerman yesterday. But again, that's more of a commentary on who they've played at home than anything else. But Friday night, the Dayton game, assuming we don't have frozen precipitation in the area that night, 7 o'clock start. I really did think it was at 6.
Yeah,
so 7 at 2. Yeah. That's going to be a hell of an atmosphere.
Snatch grabs.
I really hope. What's that?
Snatch grabs going to be a
Snatch grabs. It will be.
Yeah.
You ever been to that Lauren Ziti's?
It's the little bar that's like right inside the tunnel there, right?
That's right.
Yes. They have like a little banquet room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there. It's a good scene.
Yeah. My 3-year-old pours water all over the floor, and they love.
Yeah, I'm sure
Chris May loves it.
Bring this guy back. An appearance fee on top of that.
Jackson, what would the spread be for SLU versus Mizzou on a neutral floor?
I don't know. I don't know. I truly have no idea. Probably SLU -1.5. I don't know, but it could be Mizzou -1.
I got to tell you, I really don't know.
If Sean,
my honest answer is exactly what you said. I could see it being either way.
Yeah, if Sean Phillips was 15% better than he is, I think Mizzou would be pretty well equipped to beat SLU, but he's not. So, because that's what I think SLU's kryptonite will be, is like a truly dominant big man, or like two big men who are just like you got to deal with, would really give SLU trouble, just because their interior defense I find to be lacking. But they can make up for that in speed and gunning.
I don't know. I cannot wait to see, because locally we haven't had something like this where a team truly could be undefeated, is beating the shit out of teams.
Yeah, smoking them.
Just poor St. Bonaventure.
Yeah.
Beating the shit out of teams probably will continue. There may be one or two between now and the tournament where they lose. But either way, they're going to continue to be, assuming there isn't injury. I mean, their best player, my mind anyway, the bad man, only had 6 points. Avila only had 9 points, and they still only scored 100.
That's why I think they're so dangerous in the tournament, is because you can't just identify one guy and take him out of it.
Right.
Now, if you have, like we talked about Texas Tech.
Who do you want to stop?
Right. But like I talk about like Texas Tech, like JT Toppin, one of the best big men in the country. Like, you throw him down there, he might like go off for 40.
Right.
And then you can still win with a guy going off for
Right.
40. Like, that doesn't matter. But they're just going to have a tough time with, and if they slow him down, if the team's able to slow him down, I don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to handicap when you've only played, and it's not their fault, but they've only played a certain schedule.
This would be so off brand, I guess, Martin, to get blamed for it. I almost texted you that what you looked up the guy who used to be LaSalle coach, John Giannini.
John Gianni.
John Gianni. He was on the call, and he goes, "There's nobody in the country this team can't beat." I mean, he was all over it,
Yeah.
and I think he was like kind of taken aback. Now he saw perhaps the ultimate where they were hitting like.
Yeah. You're not going to lose many games.
Yeah,
like
I mean, Rutgers, I think, is the lowest NCAA net in the Big Ten. They can, I don't know if they can beat Michigan, but if they go 13 of 18 from 3 in the first half, they're going to be in the ball game.
Yeah.
Point being, I mean, that is such an outlier. At the same time, SLU shooting like that is kind of what they do.
Yeah.
And it stands out. That's the other thing about those games in Palm Springs, which, again, I don't know why. Well, because Schertz told us he had a good team off air. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was paying attention. They didn't shoot well against Santa Clara and won, and were up big against Stanford. They didn't shoot well in either game,
which is I think like good.
It's great.
It's good to not shoot.
It's a huge thing because that probably is going to happen at some point.
100%.
But they have so many different guys who can do it.
Yeah, I love that. Deion
always
Brown,
on.
Man. Deion Brown's my favorite player.
Is that right? Really?
He's a coach's dream because he's defending his ass off, getting boards, flying up the floor. Is a great, off 2 feet, he can score so well. He is like a coach's dream kind of player. I love watching him play.
You know who I'm down with?
Kellen Thames.
The bad man.
I love him too because he's such an injection of energy. He comes in off the bench and the whole game, if it's a slower pace, it'll immediately speed up. And when you get him on the fast break, he is a highlight machine.
Who do you guys think Kelly Thames would root for in that matchup?
Probably his son, if I had to guess. Likely his next of kin would be who he'd be rooting for, and I would not be surprised.
I have to tell you, this just shows, I mean, God, if you thought I was an asshole and you've been listening to this show since the very beginning, 10 years before that, I'm in high school, and a buddy of mine's younger brother's playing for CBC or Chaminade, whatever, and SLU's playing him. And we're standing there watching the game, and I go, "You cheering for SLU, right?" And he goes, "No, I'm cheering for my brother." And I go, "Man,
yeah,
okay,
sick loyalty." Yeah. Good luck wearing that white tuxedo.
And I look back on it and I go, there's just so many times, like if I had a "This Is Your Life," like I just hold up, "What an asshole." There'd just be a sign and I just go, "What a fucking asshole." Yeah. Wow, there's another, "What an asshole." God damn it. I don't like to think about what an asshole. Yeah, I agree with Jackson. I think Kelly Thames would pull for his son's team.
Yeah, likely. It'd be kind of concerning if he wasn't.
He's wearing a Missouri.
Could you imagine, like, your son, like, damn, Dad, you're rooting for the other team? It's like, well, I went there. It's like, well, I'm here now.
Some people in the YouTube chat disagree with you, Jackson.
They think he would be rooting for Mizzou?
Let's see. Brody Herman, tough question. I think Kelly would root for his son.
I don't think it's that tough a question. I really don't. I really, like, it's an insta call. What? Could you imagine being your son, like a kid, and like your dad's rooting for the other team? Like, yeah, I went there, but like I'm like on the team, dude. Nipper Schoolmeyer says, I don't know, man.
So good. Tip of the cap to the audience. They got us for another 20 minutes, Jackson.
Yeah.
I was ready to. I was landing the plane at 12:29, and then I go, let's go back up in the air.
Yeah, circle. I've had that happen before.
I have too.
Most frustrating thing of all time.
Well, when you haven't experienced it before, and you're about to land, and then all of a sudden the plane shoots up, you go, "The fuck's going on?"
Especially if you have a connection.
That was just landing at Lambert Regional when that happened.
Well, that's just delaying the sweet gratification of being yelled at. But last year coming home from spring training, little did we know that we weren't going to leave Chicago for another hour and a half. But like we're like flying around for 35 minutes. I'm like, what happened? Like we're just going to miss our plane because we're just like, they're like, well, there's nowhere to land. I was like, what do you mean there's nowhere to land? I'm looking down there. It's all pavement.
It's all connecting flights to Chicago and Dallas. Don't lie to us. We know.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. I made Tim smile. That's the Nipper School Monitor. Nipper School Monitor, you did indeed. I enjoyed the I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I like that.
It's a close call.
Portraying that you're in the tank. I see Kelly Thames every time I go to those games, as you might imagine.
Yeah. And does he look conflicted on his face when he's cheering for his son?
My older son, really wanted to go up to the bad man and get a picture.
Oh,
you go, well, walk over. There was like nobody there. Like Kellen was talking to Kelly and his mom on the floor. It's like an hour after the game, and I've been sitting there sucking down the king of beers.
Sure.
And I'm like, sure, we'll go talk to him. I'm sure he knows me. I call him the bad man. He'll probably be more excited.
Yeah. Bigger than the sports we covered.
And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can handle it. Meanwhile, the 3-year-old's like, there's Robbie with the goggles.
Yeah.
And he starts bolting toward him. I have to, like, tackle him. He's out on the floor.
Yeah.
Two different personality traits going on. All right, we're going to shut it down. Thank you to James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Online at carltoninsurance.net. Thank you. This is going to be a topic on TMA tomorrow.
100%. And I don't get
reactions.
it.
What's gonna...
Yeah, he's going to have a similar reaction to me. I just don't think this is much of a debate.
And Doug's going to be a father of 3.
Right. Like, I don't know. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if Kellen Thames showed up. He's like, Kelly Thames is like, yeah, I'm rooting for Mizzou. I know my son goes to SLU and is on the team right now, but I am a true son.
Yeah, and they wouldn't like it on Tiger Board. Thank you to James Carlton, the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Thank you to Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling. Thank you to Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Jackson can't get enough of the YouTube chat.
Someone's saying I have a few hairs split forward. What does that mean? Oh, like they're up front? Yeah, I have my hair is like...
Oh, like Michael Jackson had the little curl that came down in the Thriller album. Super hot.
That's what I'm going for. I try to model most of my fashion on the King of Pop.
Thank you to Jackson Burkett. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Bye.